wish to acknowledge this morning Minister of Justice, Honorable Delroy Chuck, U.S. Ambassador to Jamaica, His Excellency N. Nick Perry, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Justice, Mrs. Grace Ann Stewart McFarlane, Honorable Lincoln Thaxter, Custos of Portland, Superintendent of Police, Lloyd Darby, Principal Director, Justice Training Institute, Mrs. Karen Campbell-Basco, Vice President for Strategy and Global Partnership, Warnorth Group, Amy Ruffman, and Country Project Director and Criminal Justice Advisor, Alaire Livingstone, Detective Natalie Patterson of Sissoka, other members of the Diplomatic Corps, other specially invited guests on location and those online, staff of the Ministry of Justice, those in person and virtual, members of the media, welcome. My name is Sharon Betancourt, Acting Programs Manager of the Victim Services Division in the Ministry of Justice, and I will be your moderator for this morning. I am pleased that you have taken your time to join us in the launch of two very important initiatives under the U.S.-Jamaica Child Protection Compact. That is the Victim Services Division Child-Friendly Space, as well as the Justice Training Institute online course in identifying and interacting with child trafficking victims. Our main role in the fight against trafficking is to provide counseling through a comprehensive trauma-informed care approach, sensitive to the needs of the victims, as well as a comprehensive court support. At this time, I will invite Acting Director, Victim Services Division, Ms. Dion Dawn Binns, who will bring welcome. Please make her welcome.
Thank you very much. Minister of Justice, Honorable Delroy Chuck, U.S. Ambassador to Jamaica, His Excellency N. Nick Perry, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Justice, Mrs. Grace Ann Stewart McFarlane, Honorable Lincoln Thaxter, Custos of Portland, Superintendent of Police, Lloyd Darby, Principal Director, Justice Training Institute, Mrs. Karen Campbell-Basco, Vice President for Strategy and Global Partnerships, Warnorth Group, Amy Ruffman, Country Project Director and Criminal Justice Advisor, Warnorth Group, Alaire Livingstone, Detective Natalie Patterson, Sissoka, members of the delegation from the U.S. Mission here present today, representatives from the Office to Monitor and Combat Trafficking in Persons joining us virtually from Washington, other specially invited guests on location and those online, staff from the Ministry of Justice, members of the media, a very pleasant good morning to you all. It is my privilege to welcome you and to thank you for joining us at this very special occasion, the launch of the Victim Services Division Child-Friendly Space located here at our Portland office, and the launch of the Justice Training Institute's online child trafficking course. Both initiatives have been made possible by support received through partnership with the United States government through the Office to Monitor and Combat Trafficking in Persons and the Warnorth Group under the U.S.-Jamaica Child Protection Compact. The Ministry of Justice seeks to facilitate effective access to justice for all Jamaicans and also to deliver high-quality justice services to the people of Jamaica. It is against this background that the partnership represented here today has resulted in the strengthening of our capacity to provide much-needed psychosocial support for victims of crime, in particular our most vulnerable children who have been impacted by crimes such as child trafficking. Approximately 48% of the VSD's clientele are children under the age of 18, and as such you can appreciate the significance of the support received and the need for it. This is why we're extremely grateful for the creation of this wonderful space and for the JTI's online program, which no doubt will have far-reaching effects in positively impacting the lives of our children. As such, on behalf of the Ministry of Justice, I wish to thank the U.S. government, the Warnoth Group, and other stakeholders who provided the resources, guidance, technical expertise to ensure that this space became a reality. I must also mention that we are in the process of completing 2 other child-friendly spaces under this partnership, which will be located at the St. James VSD and the Manchester VSD offices. Finally, I thank you all for being a part of this milestone moment in the life of the Ministry of Justice. And I appreciate your commitment even as we seek to serve the victims of crime in Jamaica. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Binns. Indeed, we truly appreciate the work of our networking partners in assisting us in reaching and acknowledging and accepting and ensuring that our children get the best possible care that they can from the Victim Services Division, Ministry of Justice. At this time, I want to welcome Ambassador N. Nick Perry. Ambassador Perry was confirmed by the U.S. Senate to be the ambassador to Jamaica on March 10, 2022. He is the first person born in Jamaica to hold this position. He was also regional vice chairman of the National Black Caucus of State Legislators. Ambassador Perry has gained recognition to be an effective advocate in his community. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Ambassador N. Nick Perry.
I've learned something about protocol since I've been involved in the politics in New York and elsewhere. And I'm going to play a little trick right here. See, there's so many names. So what I want to say is all protocols haven't been observed, except, of course, had to make an exception to that Custis, Honorable Custis, my schoolmate, the Honorable Minister. We went to school together. Actually, he wanted to know more than I did, so he stayed back longer than I did at Casey. Fortis, yes, sir. On behalf of the United States Mission, Embassy Kingston, it is a pleasure for me to join today in the launching of these 2 initiatives with Jamaica's Ministry of Justice. U.S.-Jamaica Child Protection Compact Partnership. This is a partnership that brings $6.7 million US committed to the efforts to protect our children. To the children who will benefit from this, it'll be worth much more. Thank you, Minister Chuck, for sharing this occasion with me. I really appreciate this opportunity. Your presence makes this especially delightful to be here at the launch. It's always been a pleasure to work with fellow Casey Oldboy. We're grateful to you and your team at Victim Services Division and the Justice Training Institute for making this launching a reality and for hosting us in this beautiful new space. Today, we launched the 4th child-friendly space in Jamaica, and this is thanks to the tireless efforts of the Jamaican government stakeholders with technical and material support from the Warnock Group, funded by the United States Department of State's Office to Monitor and Combat Trafficking in Persons. The other three spaces are operating in Kingston, Trelawney, and Montego Bay, and there will be more to come soon. However, this is the first child-friendly space that I've had the honor to launch as ambassador, and it's rewarding for me to do so in the parish of Portland. This is where my wife was born and raised, so I do have very special connection to Portland and a serious interest in children growing up in Portland. My wife was raised here, and I would like that the children who were raised there have the opportunities and the protection to grow up to be adults that contribute to the building of Jamaica. Getting back to the special space that we're launching today, here children from across the parish who are victims or witnesses to crime, including human trafficking, will find safety, comfort, and support as they access the services they need and seek. They will be supported by the dedicated staff of the Victim Services Division, who have received specialized training from the Warnock Group experts, who responds to the needs of children who have experienced trauma. The second initiative that we are launching today is equally important to help identify and protect child trafficking victims across Jamaica. This is an interactive, online, and on-demand training developed with also technical assistance from the Warnock Group. The course, managed by the Justice Training Institute, was designed to have sustainable national impact to benefit criminal justice professionals well beyond the eventual conclusion of our CPC partnership. These two initiatives launched today are each a testament to the commitment of both our governments to counter child trafficking and address the needs of victims. With continued Jamaican leadership, resources, and political will, these two initiatives will be critical to ensuring the sustainability of our partnership over the long term. Again, I want to thank our host and to all of you who have joined us virtually. I understand there are some virtual participants, or in person to celebrate our joint achievement under the U.S.-Jamaica Child Protection Compact. Please enjoy the rest of the celebration here today. It was quite a pleasure to join you, and I look forward to spending a little time in Port Antonio, and certainly enjoyed taking a look at what we do here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. It's good to know that you have an affinity to our beautiful parish right here in Portland. We want to, at this time, move on our program, and we want to invite the Honorable Delroy Chuck. Minister Chuck is on a drive to go into the nooks and crannies of Jamaica to tell people about social justice services and what these services are being offered by the Ministry of Justice. And so he is passionate about facilitating greater access for the Jamaican people. Please make Minister Delroy Chuck welcome.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bettencourt. Let me also adopt the protocol which you announced earlier, but like Ambassador Perry, I must pay my respect to the Costas, Costas Taxter, and to the Ambassador, to the Superintendent of Police, Lloyd Darby, Karen Basco, Victim Services, Mrs. Binns, representative of the U.S. government, members of the media, also representative from the Ministry of Justice. Let me say it's a real pleasure to be here and to participate with you, Ambassador, in this launch of these two very important aspects of protecting our children. And I want to thank you and for you to convey our thanks to the government, the embassy and the government for having the Walnut Group assisting Jamaica in protecting our children. It is a fact that our children are affected by a variety of problems, drugs, abuses, generally some poverty, and we as a country are seeking ways and means to ensure that they get the care and protection that they need in order to lead a very useful and worthwhile life. In truth, the Jamaican government is acutely aware of the importance of this initiative and the significance it plays towards providing a warm, less invasive space for our children who are victims of crime and other forms of violence. In truth, unless assisted, these children become prime targets for further abuse and human trafficking. We therefore thank you, Ambassador, and the U.S. government for partnering with us to provide a safe space for our children, nation's children, and the technical assistance to develop a program that will equip Jamaicans with the skills and tools needed to identify and lessen incidents of child trafficking. Let me say, departing from the script, that our children are in danger in far too many homes and communities across. And when they're abused, when they're brutalized, when they get the expected care and attention, they then become candidates not only for human trafficking, but for the gangs. So many of our girls who are not properly treated and cared for become victims of sexual abuse, and before we know it, they become candidates for human trafficking. Our boys are similarly treated, and they also are affected by the abuse and lack of care and attention, and they also become candidates for the many gangs that operate, especially in the city communities. We in government have decided that there must be services to assist these individuals, these youngsters. That is why in every parish we have a victim services office. This is one here in Portland, and we're happy to see that we have others in all 14 parishes. But we are even happier to say that we now will partner with the Walnut Group, not only to do these 4 assistance in creating a space where children who have been abused and brutalized can find some comfort from the counsellors in the victim service offices. But we're hopefully they can be not only cared and treated, but ensure that they too do not become victims of human trafficking. As you intimated, Ambassador, this is the 4th one. We're hoping short order the other 2 will be rolled out. But I do invite you to put space in all 14 in all 14 victim service offices, because these are very important. And as Mrs. Betancourt and our coordinator, Mrs. Binns, have pointed out, many of the clientele are children who have been brutalized. They may not be victims of crime, but the manner in which they're treated, not only in the homes, but in the schools and in the communities, make them very disenchanted, lack interest in anything, and many of them just need counseling to be able to get back on the right path. We have put in place another program, Child Diversion, where we have a child diversion office in all the parishes too. And this, where the children become wayward or get into criminal activity, we have a child diversion officer to assist them. Again, we also, children now, we see especially in the schools, are in conflict. And they're not now negotiating and debating how to settle their conflicts. They are fighting. And I'm sure many persons have seen all these videos of school children, girls, boys, fighting. And indeed, recently in Kingston Technical High School, a young girl took a knife and stabbed the other, resulting in death. And there are many cases where the Ministry of Justice needs to intervene in the schools in order to ensure that they develop a culture of settling conflicts. I make these points because I certainly would like to invite the Walnut Group and make it very clear that the Walnut Group is well endowed. None of these funds are being spent by the Ministry of Justice. It's the Walnut Group that is assisting the Ministry of Justice to spend. But we do appreciate it. But I make the point because to the extent that the Walnut Group can assist, especially in communication, because it's one thing we know that these services are available, but not many residents, stakeholders are aware of the services that are available. Good news really do not pass around Jamaica well. But say something wrong or do something wrong, it moves across Jamaica very quickly. But when we have services like victim services, child diversion, restorative justice, no one wants to hear about them. These are good services to cater to persons in need. But no one knows. And to that extent, I would ask the Walnut Group to see how working with victim services, they can better let Jamaicans know if they know of children who are being abused or in need, to refer them to the victim services. We're trying to doing our best in what we do as we promote alternative dispute resolution. But we need all the help to ensure that our children are properly protected. We have over 10,000 justices of the peace. And these justices of the peace I'm using as my sort of informants to get information to the community. And so to the extent that the Walnut Group can team up with victim services to have sensitization and communication sessions with the stakeholders in the parishes, we would be very happy to assist. So Ambassador, I would really like to thank you and the United States government and for all that you're doing to assist our children. And we hope in good time we don't hear of any reports of human trafficking. It is occurring. We need to expose it. We need to stop it. But in short order, we hope we can not only deter, but reduce it to zero. And that must be the end result of this partnership between the United States government, Walnut, and the government of Jamaica. I too, Ambassador, we are always happy to be here in Portland. But unlike you today, I have to rush back to Kingston because I'm needed in Parliament at 2 o'clock. But do enjoy your day, and for the rest of your team, do spend some time around Portland. It provides some of the best jerk pork. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister, and for the passion that you share in seeking for greater access to justice for every single Jamaican, even to our children. Thank you. At this time, we want to show you, and it's especially for those persons who are online, a video presentation of our child-friendly space. So a child-friendly space is an environment that is designed to help children feel safe, calm, and comfortable while they're interacting with professionals. And so the Victim Services Division child-friendly space here in Portland is a place where children who are victims of crime can receive assistance, and where the other various professionals can come to assist these children, whether it's social workers, counselors, and all the various persons who come together to provide care for our children. So at this time, we present to you the Victim Services Division child-friendly space right here in Portland. Thank you. Thank you so much. I just want to remind us that play is the language of children. And as adults, can you imagine we have to go back to school to relearn how to interpret play, children's play. And so it is very important that the environment that the children come in is safe, warm, comfortable, so that they're able to act out their story and to tell their story so that healing can take place. So at this time, I'm going to invite Mrs. Karen Campbell Basco, Director Principal of the Justice Training Institute, the training arm of the ministry. She's also an attorney at law. I'm going to invite her to the podium now as she will tell you about the very next project, which is the training course on child trafficking.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies, the Honorable Delroy Chuck, Minister of Justice, U.S. Ambassador N. Nick Perry, the Honorable Lincoln Taxter, Custos Rotulorum for the Parish of Portland, and I attended school a little longer probably than Minister and Ambassador, and I've learned to follow those who come before you. And so please, I crave your indulgence as I observe protocols, but quickly acknowledge as well Superintendent Darby and other officers of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the representatives from the Warnoth Group and the Diplomatic Corps. I'm very happy to share today in the launch of two very important initiatives, both of which will continue to further build on the foundation in place to protect Jamaicans and visitors alike from exploitation. As the training arm of the Ministry of Justice, the Justice Training Institute is eager to continue its contributions towards developing skilled and competent justice sector personnel and related stakeholders to include justices of the peace and to empower them by increasing their knowledge as we continue to combat trafficking in persons, and in particular, child trafficking. The development of and subsequent offering of this online course align with Strategic Imperative 6 of the Government of Jamaica's National Plan of Action for Combating Trafficking in Persons. As I prepare to share with you the online course, Identifying and Interacting with Child Trafficking Victims, Please allow me to first thank US government, Ambassador Perry, for making this happen, for the partnership with Jamaica and the work done through the Warnoth Group. Thank you, Warnoth Group, Amy, Alaire, and team for the collaborations, the cooperation, and the considerations afforded as we worked through this project over several months, for allowing us to work together to ensure that this online child course addresses the needs of the intended participants and will achieve the overarching objective of equipping frontline responders and practitioners to gain a deeper understanding of trafficking in the context of child victims and witnesses. Now, it is often said that when good things happen, if you put it out in the universe, more good things will come. So with that, I'll hasten to say that I'm already looking forward to working together with the Warnoth Group on further developments, whether in this particular area or otherwise. Now, much work was done to get us to this stage, from developing the course content, the course structure, testing the features, and treating with technical challenges. We are pleased to be now closer to opening the course to the public. I also want to express gratitude to the members of the JTI team, as well as the individuals who participated in the pilot offering of this course, as their several and collective contributions allowed us to further refine the course. Now, despite the challenges that COVID-19 pandemic presented, among other things, it taught us that online learning presents many possibilities. Online learning allows for flexibility, reduced costs, increased collaboration, to name a few benefits. So this course will allow for continuous learning for a wide range of Jamaican officials and stakeholders. As well, the online modality used for this course will allow us to increase the reach in respect of participants, thereby increasing the number of trained personnel available across Jamaica. Participants will be free to participate from anywhere and at any time. Now, while the primary course focus of the course is on treating the child victims, the course content is comprehensive, and as such, it will also allow participants to develop an understanding of human trafficking, thereby expanding the knowledge base and contributing towards the fight to combat human trafficking. I am quite pleased to now invite you through this video to experience the online course, Identifying and Interacting with Child Trafficking Victims. Enjoy. Welcome to the online course, Identifying and Interacting with Child Trafficking Victims, brought to you by the Justice Training Institute, the training arm of the Ministry of Justice, and the Warnoth Group, and funded by a grant from the U.S. Department of State. This course helps adults who may encounter possible victims of child trafficking and other serious crimes. It focuses on understanding what child trafficking is and how to identify child trafficking in our community and spaces. It teaches us what first steps adults should take to help child trafficking victims. If adults first interact with vulnerable teens and children in a way informed by survivors and other experts, they can have such a huge impact on a child's life and begin to turn the wheels of justice in the right direction. This course will be open to diverse groups of participants. Any employee within the Jamaica Government Service who may interact with vulnerable children may access this course. Some of these employees include, but not limited to, employees within the Ministry of Justice, prosecutors, clerks of court, justices of the peace, those who work within the Ministry of National Security, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the Ministry of Education and Youth. Members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and civilian staff within the JCF may also take this course. The course will also be available to employees or volunteers within non-governmental organizations who assist victims of human trafficking. Let us tell you a little bit about the course. First, the course is fully online. This means that it will be convenient and it can be taken on demand at the participants' pace whenever they have time. The course is interactive and engaging with text, audio, video, case studies, and practical tips. It includes guidance from Jamaican authorities and shares real-life experiences and survivor expertise.
Hi, my name is Bella Unake. I am a child welfare professional, a subject matter expert, a survivor of human trafficking and a member of the U.S. Advisory Council on Human Trafficking.
Now, the course is organized into sections referred to as modules. Module 1 defines child trafficking and helps the participant to develop an appreciation of what child trafficking is. Module 2 highlights things to consider when interacting with child trafficking victims. Module 3 helps you to plan for trauma-informed, child-friendly interactions. And the final module, Module 4, helps you to identify and interact with child trafficking victims in practice. Each section has specific activities that must be completed before progressing to the next section. The course materials build on each section, and so it's important to complete each activity in sequence. To open an activity, simply click on the name of the activity. Each activity includes clear instructions. Once users complete one activity, they can progress to the next activity, or they may return to the main course page to advance to a section they may not yet have completed. The course tracks and displays your progress. Upon successful completion of all course activities, participants will receive a certificate of participation via email. The certificate will be in PDF format, allowing for it to be saved, printed, or sent to a supervisor or to anyone else who needs to have access. So, I hear you. Where do you sign up? To enroll or to express an interest in taking this online course, identifying and interacting with child trafficking victims, please visit the Justice Training Institute's website at jti.edu.jm. We hope you will enjoy and benefit from this interactive course. Thank you for your interest in making a difference in the lives of vulnerable children and victims of child trafficking.
Very good. Thank you so much, Mrs. Karen Campbell-Basco. And we know that one of the first steps in combating any form of trafficking is education and training. So we really welcome this initiative. At this time, I'm going to invite Vice President for Strategy and Global Partnership of the Warnorth Group, Amy Ruffman, to bring brief greetings.
Justice Thaxter, Justice Minister Chuck, Ambassador Perry, good morning, and other esteemed guests, good morning. This is indeed an important moment as we come together to acknowledge and mark these newest achievements under the U.S.-Jamaica Child Protection Compact. Warnorth Group is very grateful to be an implementing partner under the compact. For those of you who may not know Warnorth Group, we're responsible for providing training and technical assistance to government agencies fighting child trafficking. In this case, we've worked very closely with the Justice Training Institute and the Victim Services Division. I cannot say enough good things about our experience with our partners, in particular Karen Campbell-Basco, Dion Don Binns, and Sharon Betancourt. We came to them with ideas, and they made them better. Together, we made both this beautiful child-friendly space and the online course a reality. It would not have happened without them and the hours and hours of their dedication. This was a true partnership focused on making the lives of children better. For those of you who may want to learn more about child-friendly spaces, we invite you to check out the Warnorth Group's created website, childfriendlyspaces.com. Our first child-friendly space was developed at the Jamaica Constabulary Force in Trelawney. Then we worked with Indicom on 2 spaces, and now Victim Services Division. And looking to the future, Warnorth Group is also partnering with Victim Services Division, as was stated earlier, on developing child-friendly spaces in St. James and in Manchester. A child-friendly space is also in the pipeline for the Child Guidance Clinic at Ewerton in St. Catherine. And one more thing to look forward to soon. This handbook will be available with practical recommendations on positive interactions and interviews with child victims and witnesses of trafficking and other crimes. Special thank you to the National Task Force, NATFATIP, for their assistance in this. Now, regarding the online course, it goes hand in hand with this beautiful space, reinforcing Jamaican and international principles for trauma-informed assistance. And as the ambassador said, it, like the child-friendly spaces, will have a long-term impact, lasting long past the official compact concludes. In closing, I'd like to express sincere appreciation for the inspiring remarks today. I'd also like to highlight the contributions of the National Rapporteur on Human Trafficking and Children's Advocate, Diane Gordon-Harrison, who you saw in the video. She and her staff are always there to share their tremendous expertise with us. I'd also like to thank my colleague, Alaire Livingstone, Country Project Director for the Warnoth Group. Thank you, Alaire. Also my colleagues, Joanna Nicoletti, Laura Johnson, Bella Honaki, Sheila Berman, and of course, our CEO and founder, Stephen Warnoth. Gratitude goes to our Ministry of Justice partners for their leadership and the U.S. State Department, especially Matthew Villemain and Chantal Breton. It's an honor to be working with such caring and inspirational Jamaican and American public servants. Together, we send a clear message that we are truly committed to results and justice and assistance for child trafficking victims and victims of other crimes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy. Victims of crime require a suite of services, and so it is not possible for us to provide all these services. And so we welcome our partners, our networking partners, to help us in caring for our victims. One more time, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of this morning's launch of the U.S. Jamaica Child Protection Compact Victim Services Division Child-Friendly Space and the Justice Training Institute online training course on identifying and interacting with child trafficking victims. I really want to thank you for joining us in this morning's event. It is really a testimony of the strong partnership that we have forged with our networking partners in providing care to the most vulnerable of our society. And I will ditto what the minister said, that we look forward to working with the Warnoth Group. Victim Services Division operates through 14 parish offices. And we look forward to working with you and collaborating with you on other projects. We want to thank the various teams for making this morning possible. The Team MOJ, we thank you. The Warnoth Group, we thank you. U.S. Missions, we thank you so much that you have made this space a reality and this event this morning a reality. Thanks to JIS and the media. And we want to thank all the other persons, our guests, esteemed guests. We want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to come and to celebrate with us this morning. So at this time, I'm going to bid our online visitors thank you and good morning. And at this time, I'm going to ask Minister and Ambassador to proceed to the room where we will have the ribbon ceremony. Thank you so much.
Good, good,